everyone, today I will be telling you how to operate a CRO. Basically CRO is a display. So if you see, this is your CRO, which is also known as cathode ray oscilloscope. So this is your switch through which you can turn on your CRO. Your power will be indicating that it is turned on. As soon as you turn on the CRO, on the screen of the CRO, you should be able to see a straight horizontal line. If you see, this horizontal line is little disturbed, so by adjusting your times per division over here, you can make it to be a noiseless straight horizontal line. After this, your next step is to understand the panel of the CRO. The two important factors is intensity and focus over here. If you don't see this horizontal line, you can adjust your intensity. If you see the screen, by adjusting the intensity, your intensity of the ray is deteriorating, and same thing will happen with the focus. So you have to adjust both of it so that your horizontal line appears nicely. Then we go to your times per division. You have another knob over here which will indicate times per division. If you see the times per division clearly, it is divided into three parts. One is microsecond, millisecond and seconds. So your times per division will give you the time, and inverse of your time will give you the frequency. The next part is your volts per division over here. If you see the volts per division, the volts per division is also divided into three. One is millivolts, it is divided into two. One is millivolts and your volts. So your volts per division will give you the magnitude or amplitude of the signal. So you can check the amplitude by volts per division, and you can check the frequency by times per division of the signal. If you see clearly in your panel, you have two knobs of volts per division. This indicates that you have two channels, channel 1 and channel 2. Channel 1 is your X channel and channel 2 is your Y channel. So you have two channels in your CRO, so that if you want two signals to be seen simultaneously, you can do so over here. Then on each panel of volts per division, you have a knob which indicates AC, ground and DC. If you want to see the AC part of the signal, your knob should be at the AC. If you want to see the DC part, your knob should be at the DC. And if you want to see a straight line, it should be at the ground. You use your ground for the calibration purpose so that you can see the waves with a proper peak-to-peak value. So by default, we will always keep this at your AC. So after the panel, we will now see how to operate the CRO or see the signal on the CRO, because CRO is just a screen. So first we start with the probe. These are your probes. If you see the probes, these are your probes. You have two knobs over here. One is your red, which indicates positive. Another is your black, which indicates negative. And this is the knob which will be connected to the CRO over here, to the channel. So I am connecting it to the channel 1. So as soon as I connect the probe, there will be distortions over here. You have to check whether the probe is working or not. So to check whether the probe is working or not, you have a small factor over here which is called as calibration. CAL, calibration. So connect the positive to that, and as soon as you connect the positive, you should see square waves generated on the screen. These are your square waves. If you have confusion or you want to see clear square waves, you can change the times per division so that you can see clear square waves. As soon as you get this, it indicates that the probe is fine and even your channel 1 is working. Similarly, to check whether the channel 2 is working, connect the probe to channel 2. connected to CAN. Now you're not seeing anything over here because by default when you on your CRO, only your channel 1 is selected. Now you have to select your channel 2. For that you have a panel over here which indicates channel 1, channel 2. So press channel 2. Your channel 2 is selected and you get square waves over here. So this indicates that your channel 2 is also working. Now if you want to see both the channels simultaneously, I will show you how to do that also. I am taking another probe which is connected to channel 1 and I want to see whether my channel 1 is working. So I will connect that to calibration and now you press your channel 1. So when you press your channel 1, you are seeing both the channel. You can see the difference by doing the calibration by changing this up and down. This will give you the magnitude, vary your magnitude up and down. So this indicates that both the channels are working. So to see the signal in both the channels, you have to press channel 1 and channel 2. If you press only channel 1 and release channel 2, only channel 1 will be working. If you press channel 2 and release channel 1, only channel 2 will be working. And if you press both of this, both the channels will be working. So after the calibration, now we are just working on channel 1. So I will release the channel 2. I have released channel 2. I am working on channel 1 and I will see the signals over here. So from where your signals will be generated? We will be generating your signals from the function generator. This is the function generator. Now again we will switch on your function generator. So as soon as you switch on your function generator, you will see some values on this display. We will see what is that afterwards. We will come to the panel of your function generator. Now you have 3 types of signals which can be generated from the function generator: sine wave, triangular wave and square wave. If you want to see triangular wave, you have to press the knob of triangular wave. So on the screen you will be able to see the triangular wave. That I will show you afterwards, but just to familiarize you with the panel. If you don't want to see all the 3 signals, then if all the knobs are upwards, then all out DC will be seen. That means you will get a straight DC line. So from this you can generate your signal sine wave, triangular, square or just a DC signal. And on this side you can see there is a range, frequency range in hertz. So you can change the frequency range of your signal from 0.3 to 3 megahertz. So it can vary from 0.3 till 3 megahertz. And you can change the amplitude of your signal by wearing this knob. This is the knob for amplitude and these 2 knobs are for your amplitude. This is the basic panel description. As we see the signals, you will understand it more. So let's give the signal. So for that you need to connect your probe to the function generator. There are 2 knobs over here. One is indicating TTL and sync. TTL and sync. TTL and sync indicates that the signal generated will be a square signal of 0 to 5 volts only. There will be no change, no sine wave, no triangular, no square, only square wave of 0 to 5. No change in amplitude. Let's see that first. So connect to your TTL. Now your probes, your positive should be always connected to positive like this. And negative should be connected because you need to ground it. If you don't ground this, there will be distortion in your signal. So you see some waves over here. Now you are not able to see it clearly. To see it clearly, your first step will be to bring the knob to the ground and bring your horizontal line to the zero axis which is over here. This is your zero axis. So bring it to the zero axis. So I have brought it to the 0 point. Now since this is your TTL, you will see it in the DC mode. So we will go to the DC mode. This is your DC mode, and then you need to measure it. So to be visible on the screen, you can change your volts per division. You can bring it down to the minimum level. You can even increase your amplitude. You are not increasing the value, you are just increasing the visibility of the signal. So this is my signal. Now how to measure whether this is 5 volts or not. Now if you see the screen of the CRO very nicely or very closely, you will see that you have boxes on it. Just like your graph paper. Like you have boxes on your graph paper, you have boxes over here. So each box is of 1 unit. Each box is of 1 unit, and on each box there are divisions of 0.2. So each division is of 0.2 and each box is of 1 unit. So you have to, from ground, since we have taken this as your ground level, from ground you will check how much it has gone up. So 1 box, 2 box, 2.2, 2.4 divisions. 2.4. 1 box is 1 division, 2 division, and each, 2 unit, and each line is of 0.2, so 2.4 division. 2.4 into the factor which is present in this. So we will see the knob, where your knob is going. This is your knob. So your knob is at 2. Okay, so 2.4 into 2 will be your volts. So 2.4 into 2 is approximately 8. So that will be your volts which is coming over here, which will be fixed. You can see over here it does not change. This is the knob through which you can change the amplitude of the signal generated. So I am changing the amplitude, but there is no change over there on the screen. It is fixed. So this TTL signal will never change. So I hope you are clear with your TTL signal. Next we go to the functions. Now this knob which is indicating function will generate your different functions. So first we will see your different functions which are generated. As I told you, if all the 3 knobs are open, then there is a DC line generated. So no signal is generated, just a DC line. Now press your sign. Press your sign, you will get your sine waves. Now press your triangular, you are getting your triangular waves. Press your square, you are getting your square waves. And if all 3 are open, no signal generated, just a DC line. So you can generate your signals through this. Now if I want to change the frequency of this signal, or first we come how I change the amplitude of this signal. Now if you see this signal, again but since this is a signal which is an AC signal, I should go to AC. So I went to AC first. Now if I want to see the magnitude of this, how much magnitude it is, you have to see the peak to peak. So let's bring it to the, by changing this position, I can change the waveform which is going towards, move towards on your x-axis. So this is my peak value. So my upper peak is coming at 0.2, 0.4. It is coming at 0.4. This is 0.2 and 0.4. And my lower peak, to see my lower peak, I will again bring it my negative peak over here. And it is coming to, it is also coming to 0.4 in the negative direction. So total will be 0.8. So total will be 0.8. So 0.8 into 2. 1.6. 0.8 total peak to peak value, 0.8 into 2, which is indicated over here through the mark. So 1.6 volts is the magnitude of this signal. Now if I want to increase the magnitude, suppose I want to increase the magnitude to 4 volts. So how much this peak to peak should come? This is fixed at 2. So how much this peak to peak should come? It should come to 2 division. So how can I do that? By changing this amplitude knob, this level fine. Level fine is the knob. See, if I am changing this, you will see the change in your signal. It is increasing. Your signal is increasing. And if I bring it in the anti-clockwise direction, it is decreasing. So I can change the amplitude of the signal by changing the level fine. Now I have to bring it to 2 volts peak to peak. So just adjust it to 2. So approximately it is 2, 1 block down, 1 block over here down and 1 block above. So this is 2 blocks, so 2 divisions. 2 into 2 will give you 4 volts peak to peak. So this is how you set your amplitude. But sometimes in your practical applications you need to have a signal which is in millivolts range. So the first step in that will be to bring your knob over here in the millivolts range. I'll just give you an example. Suppose I want to set 20 millivolts as my signal. So I will bring the knob to my millivolts range. So 20 is the mark over here. So I'll bring it to 20. Okay. Now if you see the screen, the signal is not visible. It has gone out of range. So you have to bring the signal in the range. So for that, first step will be bring the level to its minimum position. I am bringing the level to its minimum position. Even after doing that, I am not able to see my signal properly. So what you should do, you have a knob, 2 knobs over here of attenuation, 20 dB and 40 dB. So press your 20 dB. Press your 20 dB, you see your signal. At least it is visible on the screen. You see your signal. But if you see the value of this, to have 20 millivolts, I have set the knob over here to 20 milli. This should be only 1 division, 1 unit. It is exceeding. Although this is at minimum, it is exceeding. So I have to bring it down. You have another knob which is 40 dB. Press it. No signal is available. No signal is available. Now change your level by changing your knob. You see your signal is changing. So you have to bring it to 1 volt. This is approximately 1 volt. Approximately 1 unit. So 1 into 20 will give you 20 millivolt. So to have a signal at a lower range, you should press your attenuation knobs. And if you want at the higher range, you just have to release this. Release this, it will go to your higher range. Again, it is not available. Just change your volts per division. You will see it will come back to your screen. Just change it. See, it has come back and then you need to measure it. So, how to change the magnitude is clear. Now, how to change your frequency. This side was dealing with magnitude. Now, this is dealing with frequency. Initially, we always give your input signal with 1 kilohertz. But I want suppose 30 hertz. So, I will press the knob which is having 30. There is distortion over here. I will bring this to 30. Approximately showing me 30. Approximately, and then times per division. So this gives you your signal of 30 hertz. Similarly, you can go on changing. This is 30K. This is 30K. You see your signal, but it is not visible. So change your times per division. We get a signal of 30. Sorry. you get a signal of 30 kilohertz. Now as you have seen how to measure volts per division, now you have to see how to measure the frequency of your signal from the CRO. To measure the frequency, you all know that frequency should be one complete cycle with positive and negative. So we go to the positive cycle. This was our ground level. So this was a ground level. Bring your positive cycle to ground. I'm taking this cycle, positive and negative, which is ending over here. So positive, by changing this, positive, I am starting from my ground level. So how much it is moving on your x-axis. For magnitude, we have seen your y-axis. Now you will see over here your x-axis. So how much it is moving? 1 block and 0.2, 0.4, 0.6. Positive cycle is 1 block and 0.6, so 1.6. Similarly, bring this negative to your zero potential, ground, zero potential, and see it is also nearly 1 point. It is 2.2. So 1.6 plus 2.2. So 1.6 plus 2.2 is approximately 3.8. So 3.8 into the factor which is over here, 10. 3.8 into 10. So 38 microseconds. The factor over here was microseconds. So 3.8 into 10, 38 microseconds is your time. Inverse your time, you will get your frequency. F is 1 by T. So inverse your time, you will get your frequency. This is how you measure your frequency over here. Then the important thing in your working of CRO is your DC offset. What do you mean by DC offset? If you see your signal over here, this is my ground. I've kept it at ground, and you have peak to peak value, positive value and negative value, which are almost equal. Your signal is positive and negative, but if you want only your signal to be at the negative, in the downward direction, or only in the positive, above zero reference, then you give your DC offset. So but when you are giving your DC offset, you have to see the signal in the DC mode. So DC mode on, and on your DC offset, you see your signal goes down. Immediately your signal goes down, indicating that you have given your negative DC. So in the lowest value, as soon as you switch on the knob, lowest is your negative DC. As you go on increasing, or going in the clockwise direction, you go on adding positive to it. So it goes to the positive DC offset. So in this way you can add your DC values to the signal. Thank you.